This is the new VW T-Roc R, this new top sports version, 300 horsepower under the hood. And here on Autogefühl, your #1 resource for in-depth car reviews and your #1 community to discuss cars. Today with Thomas, we're going to take you on a detailed tour on the exterior, interior and the performance driving experience. We'll have a lot of fun, I can promise to you. Yeah, maybe even some squeaking tires. So please join us in Full HD. It's alive. Full HD, full screen and full length. Let's go. That was already 80. In the front, the T-Roc R receives stronger lower spoilers to make it distinguishable to the normal models. Headlamps also come with LED. You can see here the daytime running light is here in a vertical way in the lower end. Also, special front grille, but this one here is actually closed with this structure, and it still has the old VW logo, the Golf 8 and the ID3. Those are the two ones that get the new logo. But this one, although it's a new model, still has the old logo. Same goes for the R model in the rear. We'll soon experience that. In general, the T-Roc already looks quite strong in the front, although we're here in the compact SUV or compact crossover segment. The length is at 4.23 meters, 13'9" or 166 inches, and usually a T-Roc is 2 centimeters higher than the Volkswagen Golf, but here with the standard sport suspension they put it 20 millimeters or 2 centimeters lower again. And also the DCC, which is optional, the adaptive suspension, that is also then lower. So interesting construct, putting it higher but then putting it lower again for the sports version. Yeah, I mean, they do share some platform parts also with the Golf, and on the inside a little bit more with the Polo. We'll soon experience that. 18 to 19-inch wheels. Those ones are the optional 19-inch wheels here for the T-Roc R. And also 17-inch brakes. Those ones are actually standard. They're taken from the Golf Performance Pack, from the Golf R Performance Pack. The only difference is in the Golf R Performance Pack they also have holes in discs. Here they don't. Then the R logo right there. You still get those plastic claddings here at the wheel arches. I think that's good because you still see it's a crossover or an SUV, because the sports versions often have those painted wheel arches, and I think it's a little bit more fitting like this. Indium silver is the color here for today, but you can also get, for example, the exclusive lapis blue, which is also only available for the Golf R. So then the T-Roc R shape right there. You see the chrome is on the top part. It's a quite elegant design right there, but just those cheap rubber parts rather on the lower part. Maybe some chrome would have done good there too, or maybe some high gloss black also on the lower part. Other than that, you see it looks MQB style like this, typical building platform Volkswagen is using. So not too extravagant, but especially in the gray color with the dark wheels, it already has some kind of aggressiveness. You can also get a black contrast roof right there if you like, but I think the way it is right here is a little bit more elegant. But you can see this top wing is definitely stronger than in the base version. Also some sporty design elements in the lower part, especially right there. One big difference to the Golf R, here you can also have a towing hook, which is not possible with the Golf R because of how the diffuser is integrated in the lower part. You always get 4 exhaust tips, and they're real, also in the base version. This one is the optional Akrapovic exhaust, 3,500 euros, well, almost 4,000 euros extra. I think it's 3,800 in Germany, for example, to be exact. So yes, heavy in price, but it will of course boost the sound. So we have to think about that if that's important to you. It also looks, of course, a little bit more massive. Is it still fitting to this very vehicle? Please tell me in the comments. Some people will wonder why I don't have the big microphone today. Yeah, because it's silent here. That's totally fine. But quite often we have locations that look silent, but that are not silent. That's why we use the big microphone then. So, and now about the engine. This is the 2-liter TSI turbo petrol engine in the R version with 300 horsepower, 400 Newton meters of torque, and 4.8 seconds is the acceleration figure, 0 to 100 kilometers or 62 miles an hour. And that's really very close to the Golf R. So the Golf R is a little bit faster only. And the Haldex clutch system for the all-wheel drive, that means front-wheel drive dominant and optional or on demand, maximum of 50-50% distribution front-rear. They changed it here a little bit in comparison to the normal T-Roc. I'll soon tell you more about that in the driving part. And in the driving part, I will also tell you more about how does it relate to a Golf R, how does a Cupra Ateca feel towards it. That will be very interesting when we drive this car very soon. Standard Volkswagen key. Oh, with an R logo, at least. 2 R logos. Nice. Then, door closing sound. Yeah, that's solid. Here you can also see this is the blind spot monitor. We won't focus on assistance systems today, but rather on driving and the driving part. Therefore, optional blind spot monitor available. The AEB, autonomous emergency brake, is a standard equipment, and of course adaptive cruise control you can also get. Then you can get different decor elements. This would rather fit to the lapis blue outside color, maybe not to the gray here, but it's also available in different colors if you like that. Hard pack at the inside of the doors, that's a downside. The Golf is better in that respect, so the interior is rather Polo, whereas a lot of other technology features are rather Golf. Reasonable door pockets, that's cool. So really for big bottles also suitable. R entry badge, and of course aluminum pedals as it's supposed to be. Then you also have the R steering wheel with the flat bottom and the R logo. Active info display, so the digital cockpit is standard. And to the infotainment screens, more details very soon. The seats here, sport seats special with fabric on the inside. Some grey Alcantara insets right there, beautifully done. And also sustainable and animal free, those seats. The outside then is leatherette. Really cool, that's the best choice you can go for at the moment. So, I mean, yeah, there's nothing more to say. It's beautiful visually and actually also offers some decent comfort, and they're really keeping you tight. Shoe depth, and yes, manual seats here. That's always good because then you can pump it up your all. Yeah, way to go. But quite easy system, and it's really comfortable. And the biggest advantage here for the T-Roc is you have a more upright seating position, SUV or crossover like. That's better than in a Golf. So the main advantage for the T-Roc here, if you compare it to the Golf R, for example. And then those seats, they also fit for taller drivers, but then again, they keep you really tight without giving you the feeling that you cannot move. So to me, they're exactly right. 1.86 or 6'1", and it still leaves a lot of headroom. You can also get the panoramic roof for the T-Roc if you like one, also here for the R, of course. Steering wheel can be moved manual. Quite a good adjustment right there. And on the left side you have the adaptive cruise control, which this car also features. On the right side you control the digital instruments, and soon we'll give you more details to that. Hardback here also on the top of the dashboard. That's again where the Golf would lead in comparison to that one. However, what's interesting, this one here starts 2,300 euros less in price than a Golf R. It's almost the same like with normal T-Roc versus the Golf. Then it depends a little bit on the extra equipment. But since this one here already has some extra equipment, like the performance brakes, which the Golf has optional, so yeah, this is then in comparison to the Golf a little bit better price performance. Interior overview, everything is really kept simple and easy to understand. Infotainment unit, either 6.5 inch, a smaller one, or this one bigger 8-inch, this is the maximum size. You still have those knobs for volume or for zooming in and out in GPS. And I think that's really good because in the Golf, for example, you get the 10-inch without the buttons, and this can be actually more helpful. Sumo deals also to this system. Then the steering wheel again with the sporty look has a good size as well. Digital instruments are standard. And what else? You can easily access here the AC unit, so that's cool. Still manual. I like it when it's just kept simple as that. As for that, then a lot of hardback materials. That's what I don't like. Yeah, that's one downside. But again, it's easy to understand. 2 USB-A supplies in the lower part, no inductive charging platform, but a lot of space for your smartphone. 7-speed DSG, dual clutch transmission. And then in the lower part, you have the driving selector, where when you have the DCC, the dynamic chassis control, which is the adaptive suspension, then it also changes how the suspension acts. Electric handbrake, then non-adaptive cup holders. That's also something that could be better, because the bottles might fly around. And then this armrest, which is very well attached with a nice leatherette cup and some cubby hole underneath. Infotainment system here. It's actually quite nice for the sound. So really decent sound, like that. And also the integration of the Apple CarPlay is actually well done. You can always go back to the normal car menu like this. You also have special performance gauges here, not only off-road, but also here, for example, sport. They have a performance monitor right there, so that's nice for the G-forces, for example. And special here, you can put an ESC Sport, for example, use launch control, or you can put ESC completely off. You don't have a separate button like in the Golf R, but you can do it over the menu, at least when you're standing still, for example. Then the GPS is also with a good visualization. It's also quite fast. As for the CPU unit, the only thing I don't like is, see here, you can only have it here or in the other side in digital instruments, and then this one here will remain black. Yeah, it should be possible to have it both sides. They promised us some upgrades, but it's still not there, not for the Polo, not for the other small cars, and not for the T-Roc. So here we go. The map does not flicker in real life. It's just on camera at the moment. Even when adjusting the shutter, it's hard to shut that off. Then those digital instruments have the advantage that here you can have flexible view. For example, when you have the map here on this side, and when you have the map then on the other side again, then it appears just like this, sadly. But you can also have, for example, Apple CarPlay info or the driving data and so on in here, or another digital speedometer. Rear compartment, here we go. We also have a sporty setup, of course hardback here. Then we have darker inserts right there, and the seats also feature the Alcantara inserts, so that's also a beautiful styling for the rear seats. And the question is, can you use this one as a good primary vehicle, for example, as for the rear legroom and so on? And you see it does exactly fit here for 4 tall adults. I can sit here. Also headroom wise, no problem. And it's actually, quite decent, quite cozy. There is, somewhat a middle tunnel with a 12-volt power supply. Other than that, you have ISOFIX in the outside of the seats, and you do flip the seats from here. Other than that, you also have some cup holders here. Oh, someone forgot a name badge here. And then there's also the ski hatch you can open from here and then reach through. But definitely this is a performance. You can call it hot hatch, which is still suitable for, adult transport, but also some luggage. T-Roc, by the way, in general, built in Portugal. Same counts also for the T-Roc R. Then electric headrest available with flipping the logo, and it's 445 liters of space and very well usable. You can put up this cover here, by the way. There it is, nice function. You can have a spare tire if you like. There's an even loading sill right there and some measurements. The normal length here is 78 centimeters, whereas the width is quite exactly a meter, and the height here to the cover is about 40 centimeters, and then you can go, of course, even higher. So 67 centimeters, something like that, if you go to all the way right there. And I already flipped the one side of the seat to show you the length right here. and this one then is 153 centimeters, and that's how it looks like when the whole bench is flipped. And when you put a normal sized backpack in here, you see it directly fits here also under the cover. Welcome to Thomas's Driving Lounge with the Volkswagen T-Roc R. So, what we're going to do first, launch control? Okay. So, we go to car, settings, then we set the ESC to ESC Sport. Then we need the sport shifting lever, pull it back, or we can also go to the race mode. Then we're also in this SO. The sports exhaust is also more active. And then I run to the road just very quickly, hit the brakes with my left foot and hit the throttle with my right foot, and then see how that 4.8 seconds to 1 kilometers or 62 miles an hour will play out. Let's go. There it is. And that was already 80. Wow. Yeah, I mean, at the first try I maybe like need to hammer it a little bit more through, then it got active. Then you also see it in the screen in this standard equipment, active info display, launch control activated. So yeah, first try, and then wow, that was pretty cool. So what they did with the all-wheel drive here is also, you know, when there's a launch control program, so much power is sent to the rear wheels, maximum 50%. But also in normal all-wheel drive distribution, they have changed some parameters here. Usually, the power is transported to the rear wheels if there's any wheel spin in the front. And here they do it before there's a wheel spin or slip, and they anticipate the situations by, you know, throttle and steering input and so on. And this makes the car a little bit more agile, as we can, for example, also feel here. Wow. Good acceleration here up the road. Yeah, Jones way to go. Performance monitors with the G-forces. Progressive steering wheel. Don't have to turn in that much. Can keep both hands at the steering wheel. 7-speed DSG doing a good job. And this Akrapovic optional exhaust definitely also giving us some sounds note. This DSG file, which is not that spectacular as it was before since the new WLTP upgrades. Oh, we have to be careful right here. Always take most care to animals and cyclists. So, and way to go up here. Yes. Nice. So, I mean, you feel that the front axle gets a little bit light because it's predominantly front-wheel driven. Yes, that's of course. But there's not much understeer because we also have that all-wheel drive. And wow, the drive also up the hill is really spectacular. The handling is very neutral, very agile. Yeah, and I've got all the power from the 300 horsepower I need when I go out of the corners. So that's a lot of fun. And the roads are also quite good here. And what a spectacular landscapes. Wow. Beautiful. So this is pure Autogefühl fun here to drive. Also good on the brakes was from those 17-inch special bigger brakes, which are also from the Golf R Performance Pack. Wow. This is really a lot of fun. Suspension-wise, having the DCC here, the adaptive suspension, and in the race mode it's even a little bit stiffer. As long as the road is good and nice and even, it's really great. You have a nice connection to the road. Also those sport seats help us to, you know, be kept tight. Definitely take the fabric seats not only for the animal's sake, but also to be kept tighter and not to slide on the leather seats and then you hit your knees everywhere and so on. So this is definitely a good setup, and yeah, really good grip in those seats. I like that. However, when the road is a little bit rough, as I experienced earlier, then yeah, this DCC setup is no compromise, you know. So usually the DCC is a good compromise, but here they really put the DCC on a very, very sporty note. And so this is, yeah, I think the DCC for the everyday driving life is too stiff actually. I found it a little bit better in the Golf R. So although you have a more comfortable and upright seating position here in the T-Roc R, I think the suspension is too rough set for this car, and maybe also the you know, for the people who buy this vehicle here. However, as I said, when the roads are like this here, then it's all good actually, and it's a lot of fun. Here also, you know, when I'm doing some slalom right there, how nicely the car reacts. Oh, X-Car R from the XK8. Beautiful car, one of the most beautiful cars I ever built, I think. And you can see the R, the compressor line with the meshed front grille right there. As convertible, in my favorite color as well. Maybe we need to go back. But here back to the VW T-Roc R, where we have a lot of fun with that one. Really cool. So suspension set up stiffer here for the R. Don't go without the DCC, I can tell you that. If you go for this fixed sport suspension, that will be too stiff. So that DCC option here, you should go for that. Now up Col d'Avance, about 1,000 meters here, like an hour away from Nice. Wow, great roads here to drive, I love that. This is pure Autogefühl. So then the brakes also applied very well. You have a good feeling for the brakes. And, I mean, you do hear the exhaust, but the rest of the noise insulation is really superb. So also when we were on the motorway earlier, it stays really, really silent in this vehicle. So the only thing you really hear is the exhaust then. And from the Golf R, by the way, about a third of the customers went for the Ajlan Sports exhaust, which is also mounted here. And I'm not sure how many people would go for that one here with the 3,500 euros extra. That's a harsh extra price, yes. But if you want that sound, yeah, then it's the one you should get. You have to think about how important that sound is actually for you. So now we'll see. Sometimes you need a little bit more power to be able to, you know, I'm gonna let us pass by. Some are nice and see, you know, sporty cars coming and maybe leave us by. But here, you know, when I leave the throttle, just roll down, you know, really pure silence. I mean, noise insulation really good. Yeah, you know, with those materials. You feel a little bit better there in the Golf, yes. And also in the Cupra Ateca. That, by the way, as a comparison, so the Golf R, you sit lower, yet I have the feeling that the DCC is somewhat more comfortable with the Golf R. But here you have a more upright and comfortable seating position in the T-Roc R. Then the Cupra Ateca is a little bit bigger, a little bit more elaborate, I would say. So to me, the Cupra Ateca is probably the best compromise between those two. Because the DCC is also more forgiving there in this case. We will soon again also drive the Cupra Ateca once more in a special edition, and then we can also draw one more special comparison here then to the T-Roc R, which will also be very interesting. Now I feel like I need to beat this Vito in front of us. He is driving quite fast for driving a Vito, isn't he? But still, I mean, even if you're just rolling, not really attacking, you feel, you know, pretty much in control. You know, it's just a good, neutral and balanced feeling this car gives you. And I mean, 1,500 kilograms of weight, so it's also pretty light. You also feel that the 2-liter engine is also not that heavy. Oh yes, and we save 7 kilograms from this Ajlan exhaust, so that makes it also way lighter. So good noise insulation, good steering feel, special R setup. Suspension, to me, a little bit too stiff. You can enjoy it when the road is even. Other than that, a little bit harsh. Great acceleration from this engine, great power. You won't miss any Golf R acceleration. It comes, you know, pretty close. Launch control, of course, spectacular, as we've shown you initially. So definitely a very fun car. Go for the DCC. Even if you are in a comfort mode. You can go driving modes in comfort. Yeah, there's some variety between those driving modes in the suspension. A little bit more relaxed than here in the comfort mode, definitely. Race mode then a little bit harder, but already the comfort setting is cool, like this here. But when we run over some potholes, yeah, with the normal DCC setup, I've experienced just better overall feature that the car offers then to you. But where we are here, in those countryside winding corners, that's where this car definitely feels at home. You can also drive it on the racetrack. Yes, we've shown that to you also in our camouflage car episode where Brian went with Benny Leuchter on the racetrack. That works, and it feels Golf R alike. Not as not totally identical, because the Golf R is still gives you a lower driving feeling, a more definitely a little bit more a little bit sportier feeling. This one here then a mix somehow in between. You still have the more upright seating position, which is again good, because in most situations you probably won't take the roads that much, and you have an advantage from this more upright seating position. And again, some stuff of the Golf feels a little bit worthier also from the materials. So if you ask me, at the end of the day, Golf R, T-Roc R, Cupra Ateca, that's a tough question. I think I would take the Cupra Ateca because it feels like this elaborate SUV, but you have good comfort and raciness. And between this one and the Golf R, this is a really good car, so no doubt about that. But probably I would still pick the Golf R to have the real Golf R experience. And as I said, I felt that the DCC in the Golf R has the better setup somehow. And I'm not too happy about the materials here for a car than with options that is still about 50k. However, this one also almost 2,500 euros cheaper than the Golf R. That speaks for this car. And again, this upright seating position with the nice sport seats, that would speak for this one. So then at the end of the day, the question is, what's more important to you? Presented those different aspects here, and you have to just figure out what are the main aspects then for you. I could just stress again, rolling or attacking the hill, going uphill, downhill, this is all really perfect. Yeah, just fuel consumption wise, that one is also a problem right here. So even if we were driving slower earlier, we had sometimes like 12 liters or more kilometers without attacking anything. It's like, what? Why? And we'll keep you updated throughout the ride here, and also towards our conclusion if this one will change. But that's also something to look out to. So really cool driving experience. I hope you enjoyed it here with us. What a beautiful scenery here near Grasse, the famous city where a lot of perfumes are being created in southern France. And well, unlucky for us today, that's not a real sunny day, but we still had a pleasant day here with the T-Roc R. It's a very fun car, very agile to drive, very neutral in the handling. That was very cool. Yeah, the DCC could have been a little bit more comfortable to me. Maybe you feel different about that. But I found the setup in the Cupra Ateca or in the Golf R a little bit better, for example. And those are to me also the big competitors. And they all somehow come close. The Ateca is a little bit bigger, a little bit more elaborate, I would say. And the Golf R a little bit more low sitting, a little bit sportier. This is then something in between. And maybe that's exactly the right thing for you. Or maybe you check again the driving part, what I thought about the difference between those three vehicles. Exterior-wise, it doesn't scream out too much, so it's still elegant for this compact SUV or crossover with some R accentuations, definitely. Interior, also pretty clean and easy to learn, easy to use. I think it's also the problem that you don't have the biggest infotainment screen. Here you still have those knobs, it's actually quite handy. Yeah, it's a little bit letting us down that although the price is quite high already, we still got those Polo-like interior with the hardpack and so on. This is definitely a flaw of this vehicle. Other than that, the package is also quite good, and you can use this one here easily as a primary vehicle in your everyday driving life with having a little bit more spiced up fun. So what do you think about the T-Roc R here for today? Please leave us your comments and subscribe if you haven't done so far. Please also join us next time.